WDBFradio.com.
Live from Clearwater, Florida, it is Sports Talk with T here on this Memorial Weekend with your host, Teresa Fitzgerald. I'm Stephen Kay, and this is Sports Talk with T. Hey, T.
Hi, Steve. How we doing today?
So far, so good.
Yeah, watching a little F1 at Monaco right now.
We got F1 going on, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And it's probably going to end up here just before the end of our show, so we're going to keep a track on it.
Yeah, we got on one of our monitors here.
Yep.
Yeah, we're at lap 45 right now with Lando Norris leading. He was on the pole. I don't know if they're going to be able to catch him. He's six seconds ahead right now.
Especially in Monaco, because this track's a little bit narrow on a road course around the streets, and boy, it is hard to pass there.
Yeah, there's 19 turns on this track, I do believe.
Yep, it's kind of squirrely.
Yeah.
As we're going down around the marina right now, let's cut in and hear what's going on.
Look at that view.
Yeah, what a beautiful view. But we'll have to paint a picture of an overhead, beautiful French, or it's not actually French. Monaco is its own country, actually.
It's its own country, but is it considered a French?
It's inside France. It's its own sovereignty.
Its own sovereignty.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Let's cut in and see.
Yeah.
We're hopeful of something a bit different to the way it's panned out.
Well, let's just remind everybody why there was a change made. Because last year there was a red flag on lap one when we had Sergio Perez, Nico Hulkenberg, and Kevin Magnussen having a massive crash up at Massenet, up into Casino Square. Started at Massenet, finished at Casino Square, and they were all able to have a free set of tyres under the red flag, and then race to the end without any stops. Top 10 finished in the same order they started the Grand Prix, and it wasn't ideal, to say the least.
So anyway, what he's talking about here is they have to come in and make at least one pit stop in this race, but most of these guys, especially the leaders, are going to stretch it out until the end and make the pit stop, hoping because a caution will come out, then they can pit stop and save the time under a caution flag. But if a caution doesn't come out, they're going to have to take a pit stop real close to the end of this race.
All right.
So we'll see how that shakes out.
Yes.
So the other thing going on, we got the Indianapolis 500.
Yes, we do.
Going on today, and holy cow! And there was a bunch of stuff that happened last weekend. So the whole month of May has been Motorsports Month.
Yeah. And this is their big month for motorsports.
My favorite day of the year.
Yes.
Today is.
Yeah, because you start off with the Monaco Grand Prix.
That's it.
And then we go into the Indy 500.
That's right.
And are they running that at 3 o'clock this afternoon?
No, noontime.
Noontime. Okay. So, all right. That would explain why when I just clicked on Fox Sports, it said their coverage starts at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, all right, it says race starts at 3, 5 hours of coverage.
Yep.
That's a long time.
Yep. Now, it used to be 11 and noon. I believe it's noon. Let's see. It'd be noon their time.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Or
'Cause they're an hour.
Noon their time. It'd be
1 o'clock our time.
1 o'clock our
Yeah,
time.
because we're.
So that's probably how it's going to shake
Yeah.
out.
All right.
Because a lot of pomp and circumstances.
Circumstances and yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. All right. Well, let's go over what happened last week. We'll just carry along with the motorsports.
Yeah, we're going to start with motorsports this week, just because obviously this is a big weekend for motorsports, and it has been leading up to it. And then we'll go into hockey, golf, and baseball, and any other. Yep. Oh, and French Open starts too.
French Open starts. There's been a couple little drama going on in Europe with the tennis players.
Yes, there has.
We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, last week, the dragsters were up in Chicagoland. And that's a pretty good, cool place. But
Actually, like they call it, I mean, that's the name of the track, Chicagoland.
yeah, that's
Like
yeah,
it's not like a nickname like we put, like we put nicknames on
I think
things.
it's called a Chicago Motor Speedway,
But they just call it
but
Chicagoland.
Chicagoland. I don't know where that came from. It's the whole area, I guess.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It almost sounds like it should be an amusement park.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know
like,
where
like,
that came
like Disneyland. That's what I guess
Yeah,
most people would have.
I had
that
never
way.
heard of that before until they started until they started racing up there. You know what I mean? I never heard it called Chicagoland. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, somebody
it.
dubbed that and it stuck.
Well, here we go.
It stuck.
You know, the motorcycle racing has come down to basically Matt Smith and which Gage Herrera.
I was gonna say Gage, yeah.
Yeah, it's really come down. It's going back and forth between the two of them. Let's see how this shook out last week.
Now, the Pro Stock Motorcycle Final here in Chicago. Gage is dipping a wheel, and he dipped it back out again. Smith will stage second. Reaction time, 005 for Gage Herrera. Past the 8th mile. Does Smith have anything to answer with? No, he does not. 6,777, 198.9 miles an hour. And once again, high, wide, and handsome. There's Gage Herrera.
Milestone Wally into the hands. You'll see that it's silver today for the 30th race here in Chicago. And Gage, man, just the tension between you and Matt. You just told me that was purposeful up at the starting line. Why?
It's fun. Me and Matt both are very tough competitors, and we're good on the tree. I mean, his dad's Tricky Ricky, and Matt's just like him. And I'm just going to show. We're trying to make class fun. Me and him both are really tough on the tree, and we're good with mind games, I should say. Whether or not I mess them or not, or vice versa. But I mean, I had a 005 to his 24, so I didn't throw him off too bad.
Well, there was a little head games going on. One guy would pull up, and so when you pull up to the starting line of a drag strip, there is a light that comes on where you're staged, you're pre-staged, where you first come into that light, and then you're fully staged. Well, they were playing games back and forth. They were pre-staged and backing out, pre-staged and backing out, and then, there you go. Gage Herrera won him with a .005 cut on the light.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick.
Very close.
All right. Next was the funny car. Boy, what a matchup this was between the John Force team. This is Austin Prock going up against Fast Jack Beckham. Beckman. Sorry, man.
Beckman.
Sorry, Jack. Here we go.
The day Beckman's had. He won in the second round with an 11-second elapsed time. He won in the third round with a 4:25 elapsed time. Meanwhile, it seems that the Prock family has put all the pieces together. We're about to find out now. It's the Nitro Funny Car Final. Prock was off the starting line first. What a race! It's Beckman! 393.5, 325 miles an hour. And he beat him on a hole shot. That is one of the craziest days. That is one of the craziest funny car wins I've seen in my life.
Got a young guy that has no fear, that has a lot of energy. Quite the contrast in the other lane, experience, a championship. That's the reason he landed this position in this car, was because of that experience.
And Fast Jack beat him with a hole shot. So John Force Racing wins all around. Both cars, John Force Racing.
Yeah.
Yep. Good for John. There you go. Now it comes down top fuel between Tony Stewart. I'm trying to think who we ran against. Well, we'll find out here momentarily.
Final round of Top Fuel. Justin Ashley, the Skag Equipment Top Fuel dragster next to the Renai tankless water heater car of Tony Stewart. People kept asking, when's Tony going to show up? Like, when's Tony Stewart Racing really going to show up at Top Fuel? Here's the problem for everybody. He's here now. He has arrived.
He showed up like the Kool-Aid guy smashing through the blocks. And, you got to...
Stewart staged second. They lead the starting line. Tony Stewart's trying to get there. He did it. 377.7, 329 miles an hour. Stewart now a two-time winner on the season. His first two-wide victory. They both left in the 40s. And my goodness, what a rock solid.
We talked prior to this final round, and you told me that getting the monkey of that first one off of your back, that you no longer have to prove anything to anyone. You are the points leader. You're holding your second Wally in 3 races. What does this prove to your competitors?
Well, you got to believe we're real now at this point. I mean, I wouldn't have said it till today. I mean, I've said all along, and I even said it after Vegas, we're making progress. We're not where we need to be yet, but it's hard to be the point leader and not sit there and think you're a contender now. So very grateful.
Yeah, I will say, what a shock if it's Tony Stewart is in the points lead for the whole season.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got 2 wins, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, unbelievable, man. That just goes to show you what a great race car driver he is to go from IndyCar to NASCAR, tried Formula One a little bit, and geez.
Yeah.
But here we go. All right. Last Sunday night, the NASCAR All-Star race was in North Wilkesboro, which they had totally brought this track back to life.
Mm-hmm.
They still have on the scoreboard, they still have old ladies that are up there that are hanging the signs to let you know who's in what lap, every lap, and they're changing all the time. It's pretty cool. They've gone back.
Do that in golf.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty, yeah. It's very similar to the same
exactly.
deal.
Yeah.
Well, in golf's a little slower. You know what I mean? You can
Absolutely. It's just, yeah, exactly. You may have a half an hour to change it, not 3 minutes.
Yeah, you got to keep those old ladies on their toes.
Exactly.
Man, going back, moving the signs around and all that sort of stuff.
Good exercise.
That's pretty cool. Well, the NASCAR All-Star race did not disappoint. This is how it shook out. Remember, $1 million on the line. Winner take all.
White flag for Christopher Bell's Joe Gibbs Toyota. Logano falling into the clutches now of Ross Chastain. They're only about a car length, maybe 2 apart, as they come to turn 3 for the final time. And in his 5th All-Star try, Christopher Bell wins $1 million.
Holy cow, Christopher Bell, he's cleaning up. Every once in a while, these drivers will have a season like this. And boy,
he's got 2 wins on the season, right?
I think more than that. I think 3.
2 of that I know of.
This was not a points race.
Okay, so this is just for money.
Yeah, this was winner take all.
Well, good for him.
$1 million.
$1 million in your pocket.
That's right. Holy cow. And yesterday, they had the Xfinity race at Charlotte, which was 300 miles long, and boy, what a race. And here we go, last lap. There was a couple of crashes that happened from lap 10 on down.
Yeah.
So it ended up being a green-white checker in overtime, and this is how it shook out.
All over the place, hang on to it.
What a save! Byron decided to do right here. He's going to get some momentum on the outside. Look at the speed of the 17. Nothing there to do. Right there.
Contact nearly gets away from Allgaier. White flag in the air. William Byron leads with 1 to go. Next flag ends the race.
What a move by Byron, getting his outside. Allgaier did everything he could. Just at such a deficit with his top.
He fought it down. You could have those tires, but it was no prevail. The 17 newer tires took hold and had massive bed on the outside.
Dominated early, speeding penalty put him behind the 8 ball, but in overtime, William Byron going to deliver it home. Here comes the 17 back, caution is out, race is over. William Byron, your winner.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaker. Justin Allgaier was in the lead, and he had led about 95 laps or whatever. He was going around and around, but he didn't. They decided to stay out and not come in and take tires. And they were going to make it to the end of the race. But with all the green, the yellow flags coming up on those last 10 laps, William Byron had taken tires, and the new tires took effect and on the last lap. Got him. So, there you go.
This is what happens. You take chances, and either it works or it doesn't.
That's right. Now, and I'm going to say this race was at Charlotte last night, and it shows how it's a quad oval.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So instead of the tri-oval like you have at Daytona, you have a little bit of a straightaway right in front of the stands there. So it's a little bit different, and it'll be interesting tonight on 600 miles. It's going to be a late night.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is a late night.
Yep.
Yeah. And what time does that race go off tonight?
6 o'clock. The coverage starts at 6.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Yep. So that'll be good, man. It'll be all day. Now, there's going to be quite a gap in between the IndyCar and later on this afternoon.
Yeah.
But I think they got some other action. Now, also, we don't have this on tape, but on Friday during Carb Day, They had the Weenie 500.
The Weenie 500?
The Weenie 500, which was 6 of the Oscar Mayer Weenie mobiles.
Sounds like an Oscar Mayer.
And they raced them around the Indianapolis Speedway.
That's must have been
going about 80 miles an hour at the most.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't going that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's something to keep the fans occupied with.
Yep. Let's switch over here. We just saw Verstappen take the lead over Lando Norris. And it looks like Charles Leclerc is in 3rd place. Let's go to Monaco.
That Carlos Sainz comes out in 9th place. So he's moved up a couple of places as a result. His teammate is down in 11th, but George Russell is not going to keep 10th in this race.
Yeah, and Sainz has got to do. Has he got to do one more stop?
That's his stop-start.
Second one. Yeah, the second stop made. So that's actually put him ahead of Albon, as you pointed out.
So that's team game played by Alex Albon there. And to an extent, that's George Russell was getting pretty frustrated and infuriated behind him.
Okay, mate, doing really good. Obviously, Verstappen was just trying to hang it out for BSC or worse.
Yeah, look, a red flag now, and Max Verstappen is absolutely in the box seat. A safety car at this very moment. He could get a pit stop and stay out ahead of Lando Norris. All things being equal, he will come out once he makes his final pit stop ahead of Hamilton and behind Piastri.
Yeah, a red flag now would give Max a tyre change. Ferrari coming out into the pit lane as well.
Sounds like Max
Lewis
Verstappen's
Hamilton.
needing some
Yeah,
pit stop.
He is, and he didn't want to take one.
Tyres, albeit used soft tyres, and Hamilton comes in the pits. But he would keep track position, wouldn't he?
Yes.
So that is what they're playing for now, a Red Bull.
This is going to be cool how it plays out.
Yeah, it is.
All righty. Well, boy. So what action are you looking at? Do you have somebody you're rooting for in the Indy 500 today?
I'm actually looking at Alex Palou.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. For some reason it didn't sound right when
Alex Palou or Pato Award.
Pato Award's on the poll.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at Alex.
Well, see, there was a little bit of drama going on with pole qualifying and everything. All the Penske cars had to go to the rear of the field.
Why?
Because they had modified where the hybrid part sticks on the back of the car, that little stinger that sticks out the back, that is the hybrid unit.
Okay, let me ask you a question. When something like that happens, who's responsible for doing it, and like why do they do that? I guess is my question. And then if they get fined, like whose shoulders does that fall on? You know what I'm saying?
Falls on the team manager. And unfortunately, after this, what happened? They went through tech inspection. Mm-hmm. 2 of the cars didn't pass tech inspection because it was a modification that they'd made for aerodynamics with that hybrid unit that fits on the back. Mm-hmm. They put it in a little bit of spot. There's 2. Now, Penske came out. I wish I'd recorded it. Penske came out and had a sit-down interview with Jamie Little the other day.
Yes.
And
you know what?
Explained the whole thing.
I saw that on the Twitterverse, and I watched some of it, and he took full responsibility.
That's right.
For it. And I should have listened to a little bit clearer, but he did. I know
he can't be too involved with the team because he runs the Indianapolis 500.
Right, exactly.
I mean, he owns the track.
Right, but I thought when I had seen the interview, I mean, I only saw the first couple minutes of it, but I thought like I said, he took full responsibility. He told Jamie exactly what happened, and he wasn't trying to, sugarcoat anything.
No.
So I mean, you got to give him credit.
He fired 3 people.
Yeah, well, that goes.
You knew that was going to happen.
That comes with the territory, right?
They withdrew the cars and brought them back in, and those cars were on the front row.
Yeah, well,
now they're on the back row. Mm-hmm. Now the fastest cars are in the back of this field. If they don't get tangled up in a bunch of stuff, 500 miles, you can make it. Now, nobody has ever won it from the 33rd spot. Somebody has won it from the 30th spot.
Okay.
But never the 33rd. But, with another row. When you're going that far now, and I'm going to say this about Joseph Newgarden. Mm-hmm. He won the pit stop competition on Friday. He has the fastest pit crew I've ever seen.
Really?
These guys, and 2 of them are female.
Really?
The tire changes.
Yeah.
And boy, can they handle those tires. 10-second pit stops.
Wow, that's pretty
Full
darn.
fuel and 10-second pit stops. It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
So look for Newgarden to make up a lot of time in the pits when they come in and pits.
Yeah.
Their team is going to be so much better than everybody else.
Yeah.
So you start thinking at 250 or 240 miles an hour, they're going down the straightaways. How many seconds, how many feet do they cover in a second?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So 3 or 4 seconds is going to give you probably a quarter mile of distance on the racetrack.
Right.
So a couple good pit stops and you're back up at the front.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, that should be. And hey, it's a classic race, and it should be a good one too.
Oh man, I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, boy, we got some hockey. There's a lot of good hockey action this weekend.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, let's go.
Running back, I'll face the world's fine running back. 30,000 people in here know me. 80,000 people in London, Wembley. 80,000 people in Morocco, and I'm just getting warmed up. People red one. This is our contract with our military. That when you go to serve your country, when you give your kids a kiss goodbye and you do not come home, we are going to give them a mortgage-free home.
There are over 7,000 service members who were killed protecting our country since 9/11. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is now delivering mortgage-free homes to those Gold Star families.
I am Nancy Gass, the wife of Staff Sergeant Jerry Gass Jr. My husband was 33 when he died in the line of duty in Afghanistan. The day those two officers arrived, and my door was the worst day of my life.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is now delivering mortgage-free homes to over 1,000 Gold Star families with young children who are waiting for a home. I'd like to ask you to contribute $11 a month to support their effort.
Please call 1-844-BRAVEST or go to tunneltotowers.org.
Have you forgotten?
Shop at garage sales, estate sales, auctions, thrift shops, or do you just have a few old books lying around the house? You want to know what your books are worth? Then listen to Books on the Bookshelf with Steve the Bookman Eisenstein live every Saturday right here on WDDF Radio and find out if you have a treasure.
Hi, folks. I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 Fifth Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website, www.rogersgotchamotoring.com, or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830. Swing on by.
K-Pasta Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Facts form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at K-Pasta, we celebrate bringing people together. K-Pasta Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard, North Street, in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
and you're listening to WGBFradio.com.
WDBF Radio.
This video is stretched and explain pretty sad. Now I'm doing shows and you'll think anything. I know what you're thinking that you can have.
Well, you're listening to a very special Memorial Weekend Sports Talk with T with your host, Teresa Fitzgerald. I'm Stephen K. Sitting back, loving this Memorial Racing Weekend.
Yes.
What you got, T?
All right. We're actually just been watching the F1 here.
It's good.
It's a good race, folks. It really has been a good race.
Yep. Well, we always love this one.
Yeah.
We're going to tune in for a split second.
Let's tune in.
Would be if there was a full safety car.
Yeah, absolutely. Which I suppose Verstappen has got to keep in the back of his mind. Red Bull have got to keep in the back of their
Looks
mind.
like a Ferrari's right there.
Yeah, it is.
As George Russell is told to box, he's now going to come in for what is his first pit stop of the race on lap 64.
Yes, it's showing once in the pits, but of course that was the penalty.
Is that the big thing that you were talking about, the cruise ship in the corner there?
No, that's the apartment building that
that's-
looks like,
it looks like a
there's
cruise-
another
yeah.
cruise ship over in the side there.
Well, nobody else at home listening to this on the radio can
You can see what I'm seeing.
turn it on.
Yeah, it's on ABC.
It's on ABC. You can kind of see the race.
Championship rivalry.
Anyway, this is going to be interesting in these last few laps.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to keep track of it.
Yeah.
All right. All right, T, we got definitely got some hockey to talk about.
Wow. All right. So last week, as everyone knows that listens to me, I get excited when I hear Game 7. It's great. All right. That was the worst Game 7 I've ever watched in my life. I'm not going to lie, folks. I'm just not going to lie. Toronto had a chance to do something it hasn't done in a long time. Advance to the Eastern Conference finals in the NHL. They have not done that since 2002.
Wow.
It's been a long time. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1967, which personally, since they're in my division, I'm kind of happy about.
And there weren't too many teams back then, were there? 67. There weren't too many teams.
67. I do believe Buffalo and Vancouver came into the league, so there might have been 10 or 12 teams.
Yeah.
Though it still wasn't the original 6, but it was creeping back up there.
Yeah.
Anyway, they haven't won a cup since 67. I'm smiling.
That's just not nice.
I'm not a nice person.
Oh, yes, you are. you have to dig down a little bit.
Now when it comes to sports, folks,
ruthless.
definite lines when it comes to my sports.
Ruthless. No mercy.
Exactly.
No.
Should there be? All right. And I can sit here saying this because my team has won 3 Stanley Cups in the past 20 odd years.
Yeah.
So, and why is that on me?
What? Because you're talking.
Okay.
I guess.
We have a camera on me. So you can't see me, but it's
Well,
there.
we're working on putting these shows up on YouTube.
Yes.
And I don't, it just took
I
over.
looked up and all I saw was me, and it's kind of weird.
I like it.
All right.
All right,
We're
cool.
fine. Okay.
You're the one talking.
I am the one talking. You're interacting with me, so this is what we do. All right. So Game 7 was last Sunday. Like I said, it was an extremely disappointing game. Now, the first period was scoreless, and I will tell you, it was more of a filling out process for each team. It kind of looked like Florida was sitting back a little bit, and Toronto just didn't seem to have their legs about them. So for me, I was just like, well, who's going to strike first? Because I figured whoever struck first was going to, pull this game off.
Right.
Basically what was going to happen. So like I said, the first period was kind of like the first 5 minutes, like it was just back and forth, all neutral zone hockey. I mean, it was quite boring, to be honest with you. But second period, Florida decided that they just wanted to put the hammer down, and they did. They scored 3 quick goals in the second period. And I mean, boom, 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 boom. And it was just everybody. All right. All the Toronto fans, of course, they're shell shocked. They're like, well, you shouldn't be. This is what your team does.
Yep.
And I've even said it to other people. I felt if they could beat the Panthers and get into the Eastern Conference final, they would implode in the Eastern Conference Final. They're a regular season team, in my opinion. They can be at the top of the Atlantic all they want. Yep. That's great. But this group of guys does not know how to get over that hump, basically.
Right.
And you need to learn that. Usually you learn that by losing. Yeah. And I'm going to go back to 2019 with the Tampa Bay Lightning. We won 62 hockey games that year, folks.
Yep.
By mid-March, I'm bored. The players are bored. You know, this is why I say the hockey season's too long.
Yep.
They had nothing to play for.
Right.
I mean, and when I say nothing, they could have lost every game
and still
got number one overall.
Yep.
Okay. By the time the playoffs came, they just didn't have any intensity.
Right.
And we got swept in the first round.
Yeah, they laid down.
Exactly, because they have nothing to play for. And it's hard to get that intensity up. Now, if you're playing for first or second place in a division towards the end of the season, you're just ramping up for the playoffs. So this is just what's going on. So basically, and then Brad Marchand and Ido Listerainen, they all contributed goals and 2 assists. I mean, the Panthers just went on an offensive charge. So they beat they beat Toronto soundly 6-1.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even close after a while.
Yeah, I know. I kind of turned it off. It was 5, and then by the time I went to bed, it was 6.
Yeah.
So I guess they got an empty netter or something at the end, or what was it?
6-1. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, you're good. So dating, like I said, Maple Leafs continue their Game 7 struggles. They are 0-7 in the last 7 series deciding matchups.
Oh, bad.
So, yeah. So they went up 2-0 in this series. And then they let the foot off the gas pedal by letting the foot. I mean, you let the defending Stanley Cup champions back into the series.
Somebody mentioned to me when they were waiting to play the Hurricanes that the Hurricanes are going to be tough for them and this and that.
Well, and we had this conversation last week. It's either rust versus rest. Now, I think, some players need the rest, and then Carolina came out rusty. All right, for Florida,
they were stiff.
Yeah, and for Florida, all right, you just won Game 7 on Sunday. Tuesday night, you're playing Game 1 for the Eastern Conference Final.
Right.
So guess what? For them, it's just a seamless transition. You just fly to another city.
That's right.
That's all they did.
You just keep going.
And they kept going.
Way he did, they too.
Yeah.
And the intensity they showed against the Lightning, they upped it another notch. These guys.
Yeah, they've upped it against Carolina. Carolina's a good team. Obviously, they're in the Eastern Conference Final.
Yep.
Basically, Carter Verhaeghe started the scoring. We're in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Final down in Carolina. Carolina has home ice. Carter Verhaeghe got the scoring opening at 8 minutes and 30 seconds into the game in the first. And then Aaron Ekblad extended the lead. Sebastian Aho finally got one for Carolina. So you're going into the intermission 2-1, and then Florida they just put the hammer down again. And Bobrovsky is starting to play like Bobrovsky.
Yep.
He really is.
He got lucky a couple times on that match last night. Boy.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Holy cow. That puck was all around him and he couldn't find it.
Yeah.
And it was just by luck it didn't go in.
Yep. So Game 1 goes to the visitors, 5-2. Bobrovsky did make 31 saves. And sometimes some of these goalies, the Morse, and I find this with Vasilevsky. When Vasilevsky has, I think the stat is under 20 shots per game, is when he struggles a little bit. So some goalies, they like to see between 25 and 30 shots a game. And that's just where they thrive. And because they get into a groove too. It's almost like when you're skating. Like if you're just standing around on the blue line, whipping the puck around, your feet are not moving.
That's right.
And then you try to go and it's almost like you're stuck in mud.
Yeah.
And so that's the same thing with a goalie. Once they get going, then that's where they're sharper. And I feel that's what Vasilevsky is. And sometimes Bobrovsky is the same way.
It takes a few shots to get them warmed up.
Right, exactly. And this is why sometimes as a fan, you cringe because if a goalie hadn't seen the shot 5 minutes, you're like, all right, what goalie are you getting?
Yeah.
Are you getting the one that's you're getting the one in La La Land, or are you getting the one that's sharp?
Exactly.
So you just kind of got to be conscious of that.
And we've seen that a couple of times with our goalie,
Absolutely, we have.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're all all like that. They really are.
Yeah.
I mean, and I get it. If you're just standing down there, you're
You got your head, you're thinking about other things.
Yeah, yeah.
It's hard to keep staying in the game.
you're thinking about that next shot, and you might be overthinking it too. And that could be the other thing. So, all right. So game 1 goes to the Florida Panthers 5-2. Game 2, yeah, it was not much of a game. 2 was an Jordan Stahl, the captain. Oh, hi, Steve. He's moved. The camera's moving.
Start talking.
I'm talking.
Make
All
a
right.
move over there, elephant.
It doesn't like me. It's following you around. It's your pet, not mine.
Oh.
Anyway, Jordan Stahl, the captain of the Carolina Hurricanes, he described this game as an ass whooping. And he's dead on, folks. Florida won that game 5-0. Carolina had nothing. And I mean, they had no response for anything. I thought they would have a better response, being the way they got manhandled in game 1, too. Game 2 was just, yeah. And Sergei Bobrovsky had a 17-save shutout and that was his 3rd shutout of the playoffs. I mean, Florida's outworking them, and basically Carolina looked shell-shocked after that game. So the Florida Panthers win that game 5-0, and they take a 2-0 series lead heading back down to South Florida. And as Steve said, game 3 was last night. Now, I will say, too, Florida's getting a little bit of what we call puck luck a little bit. The first goal of last night.
Now, you got to explain what that is. Puck luck.
Puck luck is when things actually go your way with the puck.
Oh.
Like it goes in the back of the net.
Puck luck. Oh.
Puck luck.
I've seen a couple hockey players I've called, but they had puck luck with the face all smashed up. And stuff.
That's different.
That's puck luck.
That's puck luck. I'm talking about puck luck.
Puck luck. Oh, I thought puck luck.
No,
oh.
puck luck.
All right, never mind.
You got to have puck luck in the playoff.
That's right.
So you really
puck
do.
luck. That's right.
Nico Mikkola gets the scoring going in the first period for the Florida Panthers. It actually went off of Forsling, the defenseman for Carolina. And he was pissed.
Oh.
It went off his skate. I mean, it was just an innocent play. I mean, and that's what these are the things you talk about when you say puck luck. That's puck luck, Steve.
Puck luck.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, you just threw it at the net. It just happened to go off the defenseman's skate.
That's right.
Of the other player, of the other team.
That's right.
I mean, you sometimes you need that. Florida's got it going on right now. And Florida is
they really do.
And they are being physical. Not that Carolina is not being physical. But Florida is playing all 3 zones very well. Offense, the neutral zone, and defensively.
And extremely tough.
Right now. And they're bullying Carolina. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, for them, they're bullying them like they're, taking that extra shot, at the player at the end of the play, lifting up their stick and things like that. So they're just having their way with Carolina. They ended up winning last night 6-2. All right. I turned this game off at 4-1.
Yeah, you knew which way it was going to go.
It wasn't. You could tell. Now, Carolina had a great first period. And when that goal went in off of Forsland's skate, you could just tell that on the bench, it was just like, oh my God, their heads are down. You don't want to get like that.
Right.
Bobrovsky, he played very well last night. Yeah, there were some goals that, he stops that he made. Like, I don't even know how he made. He was just on fire.
Yep.
So the series is 3-0 for the Panthers right now. And game 4 is tomorrow evening back down in Sunrise. So
oh really, the game 4 looked for them to clean up.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen from Carolina is got to have a total they have to put the first 3 games on just to extend this series. I don't see this series going 7 games. At first I could see this going 7 games, but right now Florida's got their foot on the gas pedal and they're just not letting up.
That's right. Even if they lose this one game coming up here, they'll finish them off in the next one.
Exactly. So yeah. So all right, Western Conference final. We'll go over to the Dallas and Edmonton.
Man, that's
okay.
Kind of great.
Okay, so Edmonton goes up 3-1 in the first period of the game. Okay, I went to bed because it was late. I went to bed. 3-1. Edmonton's in full control. Yeah, Dallas responded with 5 unanswered goals and 3 power play goals in the third period.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just a crushing loss for Edmonton. Now, Edmonton's a veteran team because they went to Stanley Cup final last year.
Experience.
The experience.
Yeah.
This is where Carolina doesn't have.
Yeah, I was shocked how young those guys were. They looked like they're fresh out of college. The Dallas guys.
Oh, yeah, Dallas got a young team.
Very young team.
Yeah. Stuart Skinner had a great bounce back game. He only gave allowing 5 goals on the 27 shot. No, that's not it. Stuart Skinner had a bad game because he let 5 goals in on 27 shots.
Right.
Excuse me, lost my train of thought. So Dallas goes up in the series 1-0. That was a crushing for Edmonton. It really does.
Yep.
Game 2, totally different. And I tuned into this game because it's like I wanted to see how Edmonton responded. Yeah, they responded extremely well, where Carolina hasn't. And this is the difference in the 2 series. Mm-hmm. It really is. Edmonton, they just came out. They were on fire on Friday night. Yeah, it was Friday night. All my games are starting to go together.
Oh yeah, it's good because with the way it's set up right now, we got hockey
every night. One's West Coast, one night's East Coast.
I like this. Is fun for a while.
Yeah, it is fun for a while, and then it gets down to nothing. So anyway, Edmonton, they responded. Stuart Skinner rebounded. He had 25 saves. It was his 3rd shutout. Edmonton ends up winning 3-0. So the series is split going back up to Edmonton, and the game is actually at 3:00 this afternoon.
Wow. Okay.
For Memorial Day weekend. So
that'll give you something to watch in between the car
racing. Yeah. I mean, you got the Indy 500. Put a hockey game in, and then you got
NASCAR.
And you got NASCAR. You got your whole day laid out plan.
There you go.
But now, if you live here in Florida like we do, it's kind of hard not to go outside. Now, if you live in the Northeast when it's 45 degrees outside, you probably don't want to go outside.
Yeah. What's going on with that? Late, cool breeze.
Yeah, I've been getting phone calls from people telling me that they have their wood stove going in New York.
All right. So let's take our last break here. When we come back, we still got some more to talk about. And we're about 2 laps away from the end of this race. So we might cut back in here.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. All right. We'll be right back.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself. Promises to one's community. Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
Today, my new dad and I shot off a rocket in the park.
Today, my new son and I failed to shoot off a rocket.
He knew exactly what to do.
I had no clue what I was doing.
We set up the rocket.
Hit ignition. And then nothing. Sometimes I laugh when I'm frustrated.
Nowhere The rocket launched into the air.
It did get into the air
Never seen anything fly so high.
and then crashed into a kite. And then
Never forget that day.
forget that day, even if I tried.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer because that is such a scary word. St. Jude takes care of absolutely everything. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge.
St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
St. Jude is uniquely positioned to advance the cures of pediatric cancer, I think better than any other institution in the world. The contributions make a big difference.
Donors are important to us because you get the feeling that you have a team behind you. We have the resources and we have the focus. And so if St. Jude doesn't do it, who will?
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Do you have a small business in need of accounting, payroll, or income tax help? DPR Accounting is here to help. We can help keep track of your business finances, whether you're in need of an income tax preparer, payroll processor, or a bookkeeper. DPR Accounting Service has exactly what you need. DPR Accounting Service is locally owned and operated in St. Petersburg for over 30 years. Located at 5836 54th Avenue North Street in St. Petersburg. Phone number is 727-545-9112. That's 727-545-9112. 727-545-9112. DPR Accounting Service.
WDBFradio.com.
This is Sports Talk with T, with your host, Teresa Fitzgerald. I'm Stephen Kay, and this is Sports Talk with T. All right, well, we just got to the end of the car race, and unbelievable Max Verstappen had to come into the pits, and Lando Norris got in front of him. Lando Norris wins the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's cut in real quick and see if we got any a little extra action.
Yeah.
Won the Monaco Grand Prix.
Is he going to dive? I wonder into the sea of smiling faces. Of course, he's going to try and get close there. The marshals holding everybody back.
Looks like the most dangerous thing he's done today, actually, standing on that.
Oscar Piastri, his teammate, comes over to say well done, extending his run of podium finishes to 7 in a row. Lando Norris, the first McLaren driver to win in Monaco since Lewis Hamilton did it in 2008. He finished, second, Lando Norris, in 4 of the last 6 Grand Prix. And if you're going to, if you're going to stop finishing second, this isn't a bad place to do that. There'll be some celebrations, I'm sure, between those two tonight.
A mighty point score for Team McLaren as well, isn't it? Yeah. Yet again, they're now 319 to 147 with Mercedes in second place, who didn't score a point today. Ironically, Russell, without that drive-through, would have got a World Championship point, excepting it had been stuck behind the Williams for quite a bit longer.
All right, well, let's pick what else we got going on here.
Last week at the PGA Championship, Scotty Scheffler secured his first PGA Championship title. It was his 3rd career major championship. He has 2 Masters wins. So he has now won 2 out of the 4 majors to give him a Grand Slam. So we'll see what happens. He actually won at 11 under. He had a five. He ended up with a 5-shot victory over the field. I mean, he's a golfer though, that when he gets in the lead, forget it.
Yep.
I mean, he had the 54 hole lead going in on Sunday. So he knows how to keep his competition at bay.
I saw a reporter ask him the other day, it popped up on X or whatever, and a reporter asked him the other day, if Liv and the PGA merge, are you still going to be able to win?
Why not?
I know. Well, what happened? Didn't he just win the Masters?
Just won the PGA Championship, and half those Live guys are playing because they've already won.
Right.
So that, I mean, to me,
that's dumb.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I thought when the stupid guy asked. I mean, but I will say this about Scotty Scheffler. He didn't go after him and say that's a stupid question. He explained why he thought he would be good. And
because he is good.
Yeah, because he's already beaten everybody else anyway. So what the hell's the difference?
Right. And he's already beating these guys in the majors.
Yeah.
He's beating these guys in the majors where it matters most.
That's right.
And that's
in the big ones.
Exactly. And that's where you gotta, exactly. So I mean, Bryson DeChambeau, a Live guy, he came in second.
Yep.
At 6 under. I mean, so that is a dumb question.
Yeah. Sorry I brought it up.
No, I'm glad you brought it up. I didn't hear that. They did also ask him.
He had a good interview, though.
He's a very good interview, and he's a very articulate answer when it comes to these things, too. He thinks about his answers before he answers.
Yeah.
And I think that's very wise on his. And I will say, because they also brought up during the match on Sunday about how the arrest has changed him a little bit. So there was something on Twitter that said, oh yeah, 1 year ago today, Scotty Scheffler was arrested. He went through the rehab process, and now he's won a major championship. Rehab works people or whatever, or whatever the word was. I can't think of it.
Well, yeah, he was rehabilitated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Transition into society is what it said.
Yeah.
I mean, it was purely
probationary.
Yeah, it was surely, but he even said that. He's like, you know what? He goes, I was in the wrong in that case. Obviously, he goes, and I'm not going to say I was fully at fault. And he's totally right that he had an overzealous cop too. Now, I do.
Plus, the cop is out there in the pouring rain all night long.
And there was someone had gotten killed.
Yeah.
I mean, so there was a lot of other extenuating.
Run over somebody.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Anyway, he obviously he doesn't have a record or anything. So, but yeah, you got to make fun of it. They did ask him a question about if the Live guys do come back, what do you think the mood is going to be on and he said it's up to those guys.
Yeah.
To come in and basically apologize.
Yeah.
Because they only left for the money. And the guys that are still in the PGA, they all know that. They can leave.
Yeah, it's going to be curious to see how the rules are going to change. Are they going to go with the PGA rules? Or are they going to lighten up the Live rules a little bit and let you walk around with your jock strap and collar stays on? It's going to, it's basically.
We haven't got that far yet, folks.
Yeah, but it's like going on an airline. It's like going on an airline with the people, everybody's in their friggin' pajamas.
Exactly.
That's what a Live golf tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't see the PGA doing that.
No, I don't. They're a little too stiff for that. Yeah.
Actually lightened up a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But all right, that institution's been working for 100 years.
Yeah. And that's where golf came from.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's got to be. You're always got to tweak what's going on. Every sport does that. They try to make it better. Football's doing that too. But with golf, it's just really hard to tweak some of those rules.
Yeah.
There's just not much you can do about it.
Yeah, because it's so institutionalized. It's been around forever.
Right.
They don't want to make any moves.
No.
Yeah. Well,
it's still working because they're still getting the numbers. And when you see these people at the tournaments too. Okay. So, you see them. There's droves of people there.
Yeah.
They're getting the numbers there. So right now they are playing in Dallas because Scotty Scheffler was at the hockey game the other night. They did show him on TV.
Yeah, I saw that
a couple times. So I do believe it's the Charles Schwab Invitational.
Yeah, that sounds right because Schwab just moved all their stuff to Dallas, Texas.
Good for them.
Yep.
Right now, Ben Griffin and Madish Schneid are 13 under. Ricky Fowler is at 9 under. And let me see where's Scotty at, because he's at 7 under. I mean, he could, get to these guys at 600. Steve's watching the interview with Lando Norris over here. That's why he's
Oscar Piastri.
Oh, that's Piastri. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are so young.
Yeah, but you got to be to drive his cars,
Yeah.
man. Oh,
What's the average? Like how long? What's their average life cycle of a driver for F1? Is it 5, 10?
well, it used to be. You mean life cycle? You mean the career?
Career cycle. Yeah. When I say I
Back
mean
in the old days,
in their career, yes.
Yeah, it used to be very deadly sport.
Yeah, I know that.
But probably 10 years, I would say.
Okay, so this is why some of these guys they get them at 17, 18.
Yeah.
And then by the time they're say 30, they're done.
Because the reaction times are so much quicker.
No, I get it, because as older you get, your reflexes aren't as what they would be when you were 18.
Yeah, and I've been I could tell you that firsthand. Yeah, my reaction times are not near what they used to be.
Mine aren't either.
Yeah.
And I'm a little younger than you.
Yeah.
So
everybody's younger than me.
Not everybody. I know a few people older than you.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Anyway, yeah. And what a great day, I'll tell you. And before we part the ways, but I'll say it at the end. This is Memorial Weekend. Everybody thinks of it as a party and stuff. It really isn't. It's a solemn weekend.
It is.
To give thanks to all the men that have laid down their lives.
And women.
And women. And, mankind, I would say. Yeah,
anybody who was in the armed forces.
That's right.
And what's the slogan?
And special first responders too,
Some gave all, some gave more.
Full measure of devotion.
Yeah, exactly.
The last full measure of devotion.
Yeah, absolutely.
They gave their life. And otherwise, we wouldn't have what we have. We wouldn't be sitting here doing this.
No, absolutely not. No, I mean, that is the truth.
That's what it's all about, you know. So it's not big party, but if you do have a party, think about the men and women in the service.
Yeah, exactly. And their families, because they sacrifice a lot.
That's right.
They really do.
That's right.
Yeah. I have a couple clients who I have one lady, she's actually in the Coast Guard. She's actually stationed out off the coast of Italy right now. And
that'd be good duty.
I don't know if it would be a ship though, because she emails me back and forth, throughout the course of the year, and she'll be like, "All right, I won't be able to talk to you because they're out at sea for whatever," and then they come into port. So I mean, it's got to be a rough life. Don't get me wrong; she's very well compensated.
Yeah.
But still.
Well, God bless her.
Exactly.
We need people like that doing the job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good for them. And not everybody's cut out for the service.
Yep.
So we thank them for their service. Absolutely.
I'm going to scoot back in here in the picture here in our last couple minutes, Yeah.
And
we'll eventually figure out this friggin' camera. It's taken on a life of its own.
It only likes Steve.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, it's following you around. It likes you.
It's not following me anymore.
He disabled the following feature. That's what he had to do.
That's it.
Yeah, so today's going to be Indy 500. I mean, I'm assuming what time? Golf goes off at 1:00. It won't be on until 3 on CBS.
Yeah, Indy coverage is going to start here in about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
So.
And then you got a hockey game at 3:00, and then you got at 6:00 you got NASCAR. I mean, there's your whole day, folks. And you can throw. I mean, I'm assuming the Rays are playing too. The Rays have been playing better.
They're real close to getting to 500.
And they need to, because their pitching has been on point. It's just they're.
Well, we've said this. We've been doing a show for a couple of years, but we've said this for a while. You want to be at least 500 when you're going into the All-Star break.
All right, got another month before the All-Star break, because All-Star break's right around July 4th.
And they're starting to play good.
Yeah.
They're starting to play good.
Yeah.
They're starting to get the points on the board early.
Yeah.
So we're, they're not playing catch up the whole friggin' time.
Exactly. And that's what they need to do. So.
All right.
Oh, yes. And Steve's got a birthday this week. Happy birthday, Steve.
Oh, boy, I forgot all about that.
No, this is why I'm here.
Yep. Happy birthday. Yep. Well, thank you very much. And
we'll talk to everybody next week. Enjoy your week, everyone. Enjoy the sports.
Yeah. We'll see. A little bit of tunes here. All right, folks. Hang in there.
Yeah.
You woke up and you told me that you wanted to cry. I was falling like a comet on the 4th of July. Baby, you've been thinking about the future like it's already yours. Show me how you told me if tomorrow wasn't coming for sure. Let's pretend it's not the end of the world. And it's not the end of the world.